DejaVuja. I think this just recently started, so this should work out.
By recently, you mean 7 turns ago?
They're still in the first game, hopefully.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of blizzards.
Let's make magic.
Job's done.
Alright, so Anjan is patented mage deck versus what looks like a zoo deck.
Mm-hmm. Oracle comes down. Ba-bam!
Someday I'll be just like you.
Oh! That's a really good play. That was really good of him. So, Hero Power Blizzard seems to be like the next course of action.
The light protects me.
That will reduce his board enough to where he's not going to get overly good value here, but we're still probably going to see the Mountain Giant next turn anyway. So he's going to go for the Knife Juggler and then the board fill. Yeah, you go with the Hound and then the board fill would be good because you put the Hound down, that'll put 4 minions on the board, and then the Hound, the board fill will add 3. That'll give you a grand total of 7. So instead, he goes a different route, and he's just wanting to add more damage to the face, more damage to the face, more damage to the face. If he'd have done it the other way, he would have gotten the same amount plus 1 more. Alright, so this gets swept away by a Blizzard, followed up by Spellbender. And even more board! And we're gonna get another Blizzard. This is like 3 Blizzards back to back. You know, DejaVuja is probably hating life in about 5, 4, 3... Really?
What to do? What to do?
Pretty intuitive play, just play that.
Extraordinary.
Yes, extraordinary in this case is actually gamer code for what the fuck. Alright, so Volcanic Drake's coming down. There's a very interesting tech. And it's going to be turned into a 7/5 pawn. Though in all honesty, we haven't really seen much that indicates that this is overly needed. Nice little Frostbolt. So Frost Nova makes a lot of sense here.
Job's done.
That is going to come back to bite him in the ass later. Alright, so the giant comes out, plus the puppy. Does not matter. Kaboom goes the Azure Drake. No, it doesn't. GG, you lose. Alright, so that's game. And then another 4, and then the hero power is GG. You kind of got to feel bad for DejaVu. Obviously, Kabbalist Totem, whatever. The 5-mana spell will play. He got himself another Blizzard and just wrecked the hell out of him with it. Though that could have also came from a Spell Slinger as well. Telling you, man, new meta. A lot of things happening that we never thought we'd see. 3 Blizzards in a game.
Alright, I think we're going to call the tournament quits once we finish up, what's this? Once we finish up round 5, I mean round 6, going into round 7, yeah, we'll end the tournament for those people that finish off round 6. And then we'll try to get this bracket up to round 6, and then we'll pick up the rest, tomorrow.
Okay, apparently there's some issues going on, man. Take care of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Alright, so we've got Dragon Pally versus Cthulhu Druid. The epic battle begins. Alright, well the Paladin's got a really good turn 2 play. Druid basically ain't got shit to do for a bit.
Reporting for duty.
Just a friendly little totem. Hero power makes a lot of sense. You kind of want to turn 3 coin out your Mire Keeper. That way you can get your ramp going, which will basically put you at 4 on turn 3. Actually, I'll put you on 5 on 4. But instead he's going to go with the Disciple of Cthulhu instead. Clears that out of the way. Builds up his deck advantage. I can kind of agree with that in principle because you really want to set the tone. And get as much value as you can in Cthulhu. But the ramping is also quite important as well. But hey, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Here you get a scenario where you can clear off and gain more value. So let's see if they see it here. It's literally very, very simple. Alright, might be seeing it. That's 5 plus coin. No, they don't want to do it. Alright. Instead is opting to hold back. Does not want to use the coin just yet, but might actually... No, opted against going for the greed play of the card draw. Alright, so we see dragon synergy cards, but no dragons in hand. This is not a good predicament. Alright. There's some ramp. We've got some good ramp action coming in here. So is your Drake most likely going to come down here?
I totally forgot to update the scores again. Who won the first match? Was it Andrew?
Yes. Deja got screwed by 3 blizzards.
Okay, cool. So many things going on behind the scenes. Yes.
The end is coming!
Alright, so here comes Mr. Doomsayer. Doomsayer, not the biggest threat that you would think he could be, considering.
Alright, so Andrew's mage is out of it. There we go. Awesome. Never doing this again.
The funny part is he can swipe face
trade and Wrath. He
Yep.
didn't even have to trade. Yeah, he did have to trade.
Oh no, he could have done it another way, but he would have given up way too much hand advantage. So this was a smart play, not overcomplicating a very simple thing. So the Paladin is not in the greatest of positions here. The Druid is setting the tempo, setting the pace quite nicely. So, yeah, pretty decent. Has gotten some good cycling mechanics with the Azure Drakes, as well as a few other things. Outdoor Peacekeeper's coming down saying, yeah, I'm tired of your Azure Drake. You can go fuck yourself now. And boom, here comes Mr. 3-5. Now, that play of the swipe is really going to make him think, oh, God, now what do I do? But hey, you still have options here. Most notably, Wrath plus that little guy right next to the coin. The Disciple of Cthulhu. That'll clear the 3-5 off, which is pretty decent. And leave you 3 mana left over, which you can play the Twilight Elder with. So he goes with the Twilight Elder. Goes for the Wrath. Opts to do the trade here. I can respect this, because he's also going to play down the Cthulhu's Chosen. Very difficult minion to deal with. And look at that. Ba-bam, ba-bam. 11. A lot of value getting to Cthulhu now. Now, the really cool thing is we also see the Doomcaller. So even if Cthulhu comes out and is dealt with, he can come back. Paladins have no sort of transmogrifier, i.e. no Hex, no Polymorph. So Doomcaller here is a huge play. Alrighty then. That Elder is definitely going to be a threat you need to address immediately. So most likely the play here is going to be trade into the Chosen, a quality concept. It's not the greatest of plays, but it's the play.
Reporting for duty.
He's debating playing the Doomcaller. Probably not the best idea. Mire Keeper going for another mana crystal will allow you to draw more the next turn, but Azure Drake makes so much more sense. And there's the Bronzebeard. Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get some value here. He's automatically gonna crank it up to 10 next turn, kind of giving away that he might be Cthulhuing. Ooh. So True Silver Champion's basically going to lock out a lot of shenanigans that Anjupang was hoping to get off here. Basically says, no, you're not playing your Bronzebeard. I will not allow it.
For duty.
So, he's going to put out a 410, which could be good. He could make it a 415, but then he ends up sacrificing his Bronzebeard, which is going to be integral to him winning at the back end with Cthulhu. So he's just going to take out the token. damaging it down and playing out a 410. The depth of where he's playing at is really impressive. He's seeing how he's going to have to move this ahead every single turn, and he's following along that quite nicely. Unfortunately, that 410 is not destined to live. As we can see, there's a 3 damage battle cry in his hand, plus the trade, plus the True Silver Champion is going to equal out to a dead 410. So that's more damage going to the face. So that's always a good thing, but remember, this is a N'Zoth Paladin. They have ways of bringing that right back up.
I wield the power.
And most likely, the Dragon Consort is coming out. And as long as he keeps minions on the board, putting Bran out anytime in the near future is going to be very, very difficult.
Land serves me.
I would have Wild Growth first, because that would have possibly drawn you an answer like Twin Emperor Vector quite nicely. But again, you may want to wait for that. There's Emperor Thurzan, which, truth be told, this hand is not overly good for that. Alright. Now, the Paladin can't do an even good trade here, due to the fact that it won't kill off his 5/4, so playing the Light Lord becomes a 50% chance here. But he is hemorrhaging a little bit of life, and he may want to consider that. But instead, he's going to go for the Azure Drake that he got a discount on. And that brings out
I have no
a Guardian
time
Drake
for
that he
games.
can't play, but he can play Sylvanas. This is threatening some pretty serious damage on the board. Alright. Wild Growth first makes more sense than any other play he could possibly do here. There you go. And another Mire Keeper. So Mire Keeper
That was getting annoying.
plus a 2-drop might be the play, or Hero Power into the 5/1. Then the Mire Keeper comes down. Boom and a boom. So you build up a very nice board that he's going to have to deal with, and you only need to be able to get some stabilization of the board, keep Braun alive through some sort of taunt, which is very feasibly possible in this deck, and then you can just blast the hell out of your opponent. So the Light Lord's going to come down. This is going to pretty much keep this Paladin in the game. It puts the Druid at a huge disadvantage, because unless they have Mulch, they're in a really bad spot. That is not a Mulch, ladies and gentlemen. Oof. I think at this point you have to start counting how many cards you have left in your deck and how you're going to want to play them. So where it's looking like Doomcaller plus Hero Power, and then trade your 2 minions into the 4/1, use your Hero Power to clear off the token, and then it comes down to whether or not he's going to value the fact that that's 7 damage. Yes, that is kind of a significant threat, but when you're healing back 8 every turn, you don't really have to worry about it too much. But him being able to trade and then, say, use a swipe to the face to clear you really does kind of suck. But, again, 50-50 chance he could actually heal himself. So boom, that comes down. You're now up to 17. Play that down. That'll bring you up to 19. So Emperor Thursday is just going to sit there, not really going to probably see play because it's already so far ahead that it really won't matter. Aldor Peacekeeper is going to deny any value off that Doom Caller. Here comes the 8-8. Bam! You get reduced. There's the other reduction.
Live insect.
Yes, right?
I hate when Hearthstone glitches the freaking druid when he makes a choice card and then
Oh,
it just
yeah.
forever fucking stays there.
And that is going to pretty much be game right there. The Druid just is not able to get what he needs to clear this. That coin sitting in his hand the entire time. He had many opportunities to use it to get value off of it, but now he's going to die holding the coin. At least he's going to be able to pay his way through to the underworld. Emperor Thorazan's going to come down, try to get some value here, but he's going to last all of like one turn. So you really got to hope for Cthulhu, like this draw, just to possibly clear this board. We're talking about 5 plus another 10, 15 damage. Alright, so healing's going to get split one of 3 ways, and it is going to go...
BRB.
Yes, he can go BRB, I can't. And there comes the heal, right back onto his face. Not the most ideal solution. Dark Arakoa buys you some time. May want to Brawn and that together. That way he's more likely to deal with the Brawn, which gives you another turn to possibly get to Cthulhu, and then Cthulhu pulls you into a lethal scenario. And instead, he opts not to.
That was a mistake.
That Cthulhu could be at 26 life right there. Oh, the pain is going to be real, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, I would have... Yeah, see, I wouldn't have attacked with that. I would have used my face and traded off the injured 3-4 because I would have gotten the 8 back in life change. So that, to me, seems like a little bit of a misplay. It won't really matter too much here.
Reporting for duty.
And there's the Cthulhu. See? What I tell you. What I tell you. If he'd have done it the other way, ladies and gentlemen, he would have had the most epic of board clears. So here comes the 23-23. And he's going to put in some work. He's definitely going to clear off the board. And boom. You have a 23-23. Now you have to worry about humilities. You have to worry about a lot of things here. But it doesn't matter because lethal is in hand. Face. And boom. And that is game. The Cthulhu Druid is generally not the most viable of decks in any meta. I mean, they seem cool and they do win the occasional game here or there, but they're not overly strong decks. It's my own personal opinion. They can win. Just not against N'Zoth. Anything. And it's kind of funny. It now makes a lot more sense why they gave Cthulhu like so many cultists, because he needs those cultists to be anywhere near valuable. Yay, Blizzard. Poor thinking.
Your soul shall be mine. I must protect the wild.
Alright, so now it's Zoo versus Cthulhu. Well, let's be perfectly honest here. Zoo has a huge advantage. It can constantly put pressure on the board, but Cthulhu in hand, we could see this drop turn 10, or at the moment he has 10 mana, whichever comes first. This is Druid after all. But having that turn 1 play, really huge, going to set a lot of pacing here. Here comes the Wild Growth, which will elevate him up to 4. Instead, he's actually just going to Hero Power and go face. So turn 3, what we're going to see is most likely the Disciple come down to take out the 3/2. Alright. Darkshire Councilman is coming down. This is a nightmare scenario looking at the rest of his hand. Very nice, very nice. And it just keeps on giving, ladies and gentlemen. Knife Juggler plus any 1-drop is going to do remarkable things here. Alright, Juggler missed the Disciple. Won't really matter too much. The 3/5 will trade into it. Now you have a 3/3 that's going to keep growing. Now, if Swipe came into hand, this would be great. But it didn't. So, the Elder probably going to be the best pick here. But yeah, Elder. Oh no. The 2/3 does make a lot more sense, and it'll allow you to Hero Power and hope for a Swipe next turn. Now this is the turn that nightmares are created.
The light protects me.
Now if both of these go into that, oof.
The light protects me.
Oh my god, the Knife Juggler clears the board. Here's more damage coming in. If you do not top deck a Swipe, this is GG. Top decks a Swipe! Top decks a Swipe! But it
Commentators curse, you call that shit.
I know, but it may be too little too late. Yes, you're getting rid of 8 potential damage, but you're still leaving a buttload more. 7 to be exact. And at only 15 life left, that's really sketchy. Especially when you look and see a Doom Guard plus Power Whelming in the hand. And ladies and gentlemen, short of a really good taunt, this game is over. And even then, it's still damn near over. Cthulhu Chosen is not going to win this game. That is GG. I don't care who you are, what country you're in, that is GG.
Yep, math is math.
So again, Cthulhu Druid, not the strongest deck in this meta. And Anjupang completely accepts his inevitable death. And to rub salt in the wound, goes for the BM. DejaVuja showing no respect to his fellow player and is kicking him while laying down.
Alright, so that's another round for DejaVuja.
All I heard was BM, BM, BM. The overkill is a classic sign of new BM, ladies and gentlemen. It's something you see quite often on ladder, but in tournaments it's generally frowned upon just due to the fact that it's...
Unless you're forcing.
Unless you're forcing, because, well, you're a douchebag. And I like
he
forcing.
was technically the one that invented BMing.
Actually, no, he wasn't. But that's besides the point.
He has the credit for that.
Yeah, but the actual credit goes to somebody else back during the whole Cockatrice emulator days of Hearthstone.
Ah,
He learned it from him.
the more you know.
I knew Forsen before he was famous. And we called him Foreskin then, too. It was hilarious.
Alright, so that was Warlock.
Yep. Warlock basically took a shit on Cthulhu Druid, and Cthulhu Druid's trying one last time to get something.
He really wants to get that win with Cthulhu Druid.
You know, you gotta love this kind of determination and perseverance. It's what makes, you know, Hearthstone players try as hard as they do on the ladder every single day. Which reminds me, I should probably play some Hearthstone lately. I took 3 days off. Don't blame me. Overwatch came out. Alright, so hero power, face, ba-boom. He got a really good start this time. But Priest is going to be able to kind of dial back a lot of this early damage with its own hero power. But really, nothing it can overly do right now. It could technically play out a 2-1, but not in its best interest here. Twilight Elder is definitely coming down. Bam. Going to keep on building this Cthulhu. It's very likely that Cthulhu will get played this game, unlike the last two. Well, no, it got played in the first one. It just didn't do anything effectively. All right. So, the Harvest Golem makes a lot of sense since you don't really have much you can play right now going into your next turn. But turn 5 is most likely going to be when you're going to do your Blackwing Corruptor. And hopefully, Anjupang will recognize that and remove that 2-1 off the board.
The land serves me.
Keeping the board clear and continuing to grow his Cthulhu to ungodly levels. Executed Evil is going to come out. It's going to remove all but one minion. The one that's constantly giving him back more value to Cthulhu. By the way, you're being messaged.
Yeah, I realize I'm working on it.
Azure Drake. Oh, that Azure Drake's going to add in some value here. We're probably going to see Sylvanas pop down right now.
I have no time for games.
So here's the funny scenario. You trade both in, you play another Twilight Elder afterwards, and then follow it up with a Disciple going to the face. Just to basically say, yeah, no, you ain't getting shit from me. That's a play. The other play here is trade both in, play down another Azure Drake, and then go Hero Power face. I mean, there are multiple options. But I like the Twilight Elder one because you couldn't deal with it for several turns, which tells me that I'm going to continuously get value off of it now that your Sylvanas is out the door. But goes for the Drake and gets a Beckoner of Evil top deck. That has got to be one of the best choices, but opts to go with the hero power instead. That's a very interesting line of play. I like it.
Welcome to the exhibit.
Oh. Alright, so Beast could be a play here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even joking. Druid has very little it can normally do against the Beast. And getting this back when the Zoth hits is a huge fucking play. That's twice now we've seen the Beast come out of those choices. Do you blame them, Ghost, at all? No,
I am totally not listening to you right now. I'm like doing a million different fucking things right now.
Okay.
That brackets updated, check, stream update, blah blah blah.
The play here is
eliminated. Alright, yeah, we're good. Alright, we're back. Alright. What have I missed so far?
a second Beast was chosen. Yes. So you go with the no. That was bad play. This might get punished a little bit, but again, not overly much. Cthulhu now up to 13. And he has the ability of rocketing that up to 17 next turn quite nicely, as well as 18, to be perfectly honest with you. That 410, priests don't have a way of dealing with that overly well.
I wield the power.
Blackwing Corruptor comes down. This board is perfectly set for this swipe that's coming. So, yeah, it's looking like swipe, trade into the 3/5, and that's going to leave you leaving you 6 more mana, which you could go 1 Twilight Elder and a Disciple and get some more value. Which I think is going to be the play. The other option would have been to double down on the Twilight Elders. Did he seriously just... Okay, sure, I guess. Not sure about that play, but alright. He's playing a very interesting game. Like, he's really valuing that armor game more than anything else. And... well, now we're going to see those Disciples getting a huge amount of value here. Holding on to it with some really good forethought on his part. Alright.
Again, oh, so dang.
You know what's funny? It's not showing up on the stream, so that's good.
Sure about that?
I'm looking at
Remember the stream is on delay.
By 5 minutes, not that much.
It's gonna get there.
Was a mistake.
So he gets the clear, has a 3/3, a 2/1, and a 5/7, and looking at DejaVuja, whatever, Deva. Not overly good, but so he decides to go with the N'Zoth play, fully recognizing that, hey, the likelihood you have Cthulhu, not very. I need to be able to clear a lot of your stuff. Here's how I'm going to do it. The funny part about this is it's not a very good timing for it, but at the same time, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the Druid, and the Druid's not going to be able to respond overly well other than just filling the board with a bunch of shitty fucking minions, which, that's a way of winning, to be perfectly honest with you. You trade the 5/7 into the 9/7, right? Go on, you trade that, you use the Disciple also to finish it off. What? Why? Okay. That was risky. It could have taken the 2/1 and you not be able to deal with that. Wild Hero Power Face. I don't know if that was a correct sequencing there at all. Don't know if that was correct sequencing at all. But you did end up removing 14 damage off the board. You're sitting at a nice, clean spot. But now he's just going to remove all your stuff. Going for the card draw. Gets Emperor Thurzan. Again, another scenario where Emperor Thurzan's value is being diminished greatly. But you're still at 31 health. You might be able to make something come from this. We'll have to wait and see. Well, completely agree with him on this. So now the priest is finally taking control of the board, has a really good setup. Sylvanas is not...
I have no time for games.
Not overly good here. I would have gone with the Wild Growth first, just to always You always go with the wild growth first, just to always pull advantage. Now, in this case, you're actually going to get rewarded here. You're going to use the Wrath, and ends up going for the card draw. Gets Emperor Thurzan. Again, another scenario where Emperor Thurzan's value is being diminished greatly. But you're still at 31 health. You might be able to make something come from this. We'll have to wait and see. And here comes another Twilight Guardian, pretty much locking this game completely out of the Druid's hands. There's not much the Druid can effectively do here. Other than play Cthulhu.
Let's see how much Cthulhu can clear.
Not enough.
Definitely not enough.
That is gay.
That's exact lethal.
Yes, that is. That is exact lethal.
For shame.
Well played.
Oh. Oh. Play it. Do it for. Oh, do it. Do it. Oh,
That
wait. No.
Holy Nova hype though.
Yeah, go for the heal. Attack everybody in. Then do the Holy Nova. Let Sylvanas take something. Yeah, he's like, no, fuck you, I'm done. Oh, jeez. Again, Cthulhu Druid failing on every front.
Alright, so